everyone. I'm Linda Nickell, and welcome to the Happiness Hour. We meet every week to connect, inspire, and create with the help of a guest speaker that shares their images and stories with their tips to help you improve your photography skills. The schedule for our upcoming presentations is on my website at lindanickell.com, and under Happiness Hour, you'll find the link to my YouTube channel. Tonight's guest is Don Simpson. Don is no stranger to this group. He's actually done a couple of presentations for us. In session number 48, he introduced us to the Art of Scanography. And in session number 70, he did a presentation called Improving Photography Through Gesture. So you'll be able to find those on the YouTube channel. In tonight's presentation, Hybrid Photography with a Twist, Don will teach us how to create an animated photo by using an app called Live Portrait. This project will jumpstart your creativity, and it just might take your marketing skills to a new level. If you're on Instagram, you can find Don at Donald B. Simpson. So welcome back to the Happiness Hour, Don.
Thank you very much, Linda. I appreciate being here.
Okay, I've gotten to know you a little bit, but there's a few people that are new in the room that may not have met you. Is there anything that you want to kind of tell us a little bit about you before you jump in, or do you?
Sure, I can say a brief.
Yeah.
I grew up near Rochester, New York, in the shadow of Eastman Kodak, so I've been around photography since a little child. And then I got in and out of it like everybody, college, get married, have a family, and then jump back into it. Was lucky enough to be able to pair up with a 40 to now over 50-year professional photographer and work with him one-on-one for 7 months. And he would take me out on some of his shots to learn things I didn't know anything about. Like, I don't like architecture, so he taught me architecture. So I've been around. I've been presidents of photography clubs. I've started photography clubs with other people. And most recently, as I mentioned a little while ago, to support my photography right now, I've started running radio control, quads, drones, and fixed aircraft, all with video cameras in the cockpit, translated back to my goggles that I wear. So I'm literally flying the aircraft myself from inside, all the while recording video and taking photos when I think it's appropriate, which supports my hybrid photography that you'll understand in a few minutes.
Well, so when I have never met you, and you are just up the street from me, and we met through a mutual friend, Sue Pitts, who's in this room. And when she told me, Don can do this presentation and can do that presentation, and we started talking, and then you started telling me all the things you could do, I've just been putting you on the calendar, it seems, every couple of months. So I just want to, thank you for giving up your Wednesday evenings to come in here and teach this group something. And we ran through this a couple of months ago, just kind of a little preview. And I got super excited, and I thought, you know what? I think this is something that other people in this room might find interesting and maybe helpful. So with that, if you're ready, let's get started.
Okay. Well, thank you once again. It's a pleasure to be here. I kind of like to pick subjects that are around the edges of photography and leave the bulk of photography to other speakers, because you have so many wonderful speakers here. So I like to pick things to talk about that most people maybe haven't been exposed to. And originally, when we talked many months ago, and I showed you this as just kind of a, hey, you want to see something cool? We got kind of turned around in that. But really what's important, in my opinion, is to learn how to do hybrid photography, because I personally believe that the world is moving very quickly towards video and a little bit less so towards still photos. I see that with my own children, who are pretty savvy, as well as my grandchildren, several of them in their teens. That's where they want to be. That's what they want to see. And even last week's speaker happened to mention that video projects were something that was increasing on his plate as a professional commercial photographer. So learning hybrid photography is the best of all worlds, and we'll talk a little bit about this. The underlying technology that I'm going to teach you is actually quite simple. If we were face to face, I could probably teach this in 10 minutes. What makes it tough is Zoom, because I'm going to have to run from multiple devices simultaneously. And that's not always the easiest thing with Zoom. So if you see me swapping screens back and forth, I don't have a choice in order to really make this as simple to use as is possible. And I'll apologize probably every time.
That's okay.
So the first thing is, if you have not already done so, if you have a smartphone or an Android, if you could go to the App Store and search and download something called Live Portrait. It looks like the icon you see to the right. Scroll down, and you might have to scroll down a couple. Sometimes they're playing tricks now that what you're searching for isn't the first thing they return. And then just bring the icon on. It's a free icon. I've had it since 2015. It's a nothing thing, and it's free, but it's what your customers, family, friends, etc. would use to use one aspect of what I'm going to show tonight. Then just tap on the icon once it's been downloaded, and it's going to just ask you two things. One is, would you allow access to your camera? Absolutely, you must do that, because otherwise, without the camera, you can't scan the photo that's going to go live. And notifications. I would just say yes, yes, and you can go back and turn off notifications later, and then just exit the application. So it should take you a minute or two if you already have the phone next to you, because it would be better for you if you watch the presentation on a PC, Mac, laptop, something like that. Okay, so that's step number one. Step number two, on your Zoom device, it would be advantageous for you if you do a screen snap of this page. And are you seeing a big black thing?
I am. Let me, yeah. Is that you or is that me? There it goes. It's starting to go away.
I'll go ahead. I'll have to play around with it.
Okay.
Okay. If you screen snap this page, if you're not familiar with how to do that on a Mac type device, it's Command-Shift-3. And I believe on a PC, I'm not a PC person, it's Control Print Screen.
Don, before you go any further, in the very bottom, there's a black bar that kind of covers part of that sentence. So can you just
read that? And I don't know
that?
why this is doing it, but
okay.
I'll put it up.
There, okay, it's gone. Now it's gone.
That's just my share bar.
Okay.
Okay, but right now just go ahead and print screen this. And the reason is I want you to have the laughing zebra photos captured someplace, because if you didn't get something working tonight, at least you'd have some live portrait photos you could practice with at home. And the last thing I would ask you to do is to also take a picture of this. We'll talk about these in a moment, but right now you don't have to do this for tonight. This is for your work if you want to play with this at some other time in the future. So what is hybrid photography? Well, simply stated, it's combining still photos, video footage, graphics, text, music, voiceovers, transitions, etc., into a single video stream that presents a very professional and meaningful message. You know, what can you use it for? You're not limited to just what we're going to do tonight. You can put these hybrid videos on YouTube channels, web pages, blogs, Facebook, Instagram, email attachments, and more. It's a video. But tonight, I'm going to show you how to use it as a part of your business card, or even a wall hanging that you might have in your living room, or that you sold one of your customers, making them come alive right in the hands of your customers and friends. What equipment or software do you need to take the photos? Any camera you already have. that's capable of saving a JPEG photo. There's no limit to what you can use. Some of the stuff I'm showing you tonight was on iPhones. Video, potentially the same camera that you use for still photos, because most modern cameras can also do video, but my video footage on the first one I'm going to show you was all done on an iPhone. Or any device. If you have a video camera, as long as it can end up at the end of the day with a .mov or a .mp4 file, we're good to go. In order to create the hybrid finished product, you're going to need software that would run on a PC or a Mac or a laptop or some other smart device, but probably wouldn't create a hybrid product off your iPhone. It's just too many parts and pieces moving around. The software to finish your still photos is exactly what you use today. It doesn't have to be Photoshop and Lightroom, but probably for this group, those are the most popular. But anything, you're not going to do anything different with those photos, still photos, than you've done for years. The software that capable of editing video footage is also going to be necessary. In other words, if you're going to combine things like photos and videos and graphics and text, you've got to have something that allows you to put them into a sensible string or stream that you can then play back as a video. If you're on an Apple platform, you're really lucky, because iMovie comes with the operating system and it's free. And so far, anything I've ever wanted to do, I've been able to do. If you're on a PC platform, I'm sure there are things out there, but I'm not a PC person, so I don't know what they are for free. There are things that you can spend a couple $100s on for making hybrid videos that are incredible, good enough to make feature films. So that could be used. You've all heard the expression, a picture's worth 1,000 words. I don't know if you've ever tried to put 1,000 words on a business card, but you can do it in another way. After today's presentation, your very own images can make a 2.5-minute video or multiple videos appear directly on anyone's smartphone, right from your business card or even large print that they may have purchased that's hanging on a wall. So we're going to discuss two methods. The first one is placing your favorite photo or photos on a business card, and others can see the video that's behind that using a free app on their smartphone. And it's really cool. It's very different from anything I'd ever seen. And second is QR codes. In fact, Linda asked me as we were getting ready tonight, why not QR codes? You can certainly use QR codes as well. I will show you, if you don't know how to use them, how they can be used creatively. But you could deploy both techniques. The live portrait or the QR codes could all be on your business card and become a complete marketing tool off a very little 2.5 by 3-inch card. I'll explain this and then we'll do some demonstrations. But let's talk a little bit about the life of a business card. If today you had one and you give it to somebody, they'll probably put it in their pocket. When they get home, they may throw it away. Hey, no, my wife's not here, so if he hears another dog, it's off to the races. So you can, they may do that. They may put it in a drawer like I do and then forget where I put it. But because this is cool, my experience has shown me that people will want to take this home and they want to show their family and friends and potentially other photographers, because to a photographer, this has a lot of appeal. So if you take your iPhone or your business card on, say on the left, I just blocked out my contact, but that's more of a traditional type of card, a picture and some contact information and maybe what you do. There's no reason that you have to be limited to just one side of a business card. You could use both sides. I print my own business cards and I can turn on either side, no problem. Or what I've seen some commercial photographers do is they actually use a folded business card, which gives them 4 surfaces. They put their complete marketing on these devices and claim they get a lot of pullback as a result of that. So that's good. Or you can have a wall hanging of any size. It doesn't really matter. You could have an entire wall if you wanted to, or it could be an image on a web page like this. So whatever you want to launch this from, you can certainly do that. So for people that may not have successfully got the live portrait app running on a second device, and I anticipated that might happen, I want to at least give you a simulation of what that might feel like. So if I take my my iPhone here, and I took that and held it up to that laughing zebra on the business card, within a second or so, you'd have something like this. Okay, so that's kind of what you're going to do. That little video clip, which is much longer, but I don't want to waste our all time, is something that would show up on their smartphone. So anytime they had your business card, or they have a picture on the wall they bought from you or whatever, they have access to all of this information simply by a free app. Takes but a couple of seconds to run it, and off to the races you go. So the 2 new things down here, if we want to try it ourselves, are going to be when a view window appears, you hold it over the zebra photo, and you might move the phone back and forth a little bit to try to create focus on the zebra. It doesn't have to be perfectly in focus, just somewhat in focus. And then within 1 to 2 seconds, you'll see magic or swirls. You might even feel a vibration in the smartphone, and the video should start right there on that iPhone. So to do that, I thought what I would do is I'll show you one. So I'm going to stop. First thing, I'm going to go to there. I'm going to stop the share for just a brief moment. And I'm going to do a shared screen. And now I'm going to switch devices to have my inputs come from an iPhone, so that you can literally see me do the whole thing. This is one of the Zoom limitations, but right now you should be seeing one of my pages on my iPhone. And you can see right there that that's the app called Live Photo. Well, the first time you execute the app, as I showed you before, you have to answer the question about sharing your camera and notifications. But if we're past that step, from that point forward, you don't have any of that. All you do is click to bring up the window, and now you can see the white window. I am going to go to a business card. Let me do it this way. Okay. So that in essence is how you do it. It's not a difficult thing to do. So I will go back and share the screen with those pictures for you. What I'd like for those of you that did bring a smartphone to go ahead and tap and bring up the live portrait app and then point that camera and try to get the photo inside that white outline box. You might have to move it a little bit forward and back to bring it somewhat in focus, and it should just take off and play, assuming you've got your sound turned on. So while you're trying that, I unfortunately cannot help people troubleshoot anything, but hopefully it's working on many or all of your devices. If not, this presentation will be on YouTube, and I'll also offer to the group that you can get my contact information, or you'll get it from the screen snap. Contact me, and I'm more than happy to set up a Zoom privately and help you get up and running. It's typically one-on-one. Things are pretty fast and simple to make that happen. So we have accomplished, hopefully, that step. Now, how do you set up a live photo? There's two parts to it. The first part is you take and finish a photo that you want to use as your index photo as print quality, because it's going to be used both digitally as well as printed. You should not advise to change the crop on the photo. Just leave it the same. What size it is doesn't really matter. You just saw it launch off a business card. I'll launch another one in a minute that's on 11 by 14 print in a frame. So that really doesn't make any difference. So that's nothing different than you've been doing all your photo career. Part two is to create a hybrid video or slideshow and then finish it. For live portrait, the video cannot exceed 2.5 minutes in duration. That's a lot of time. It may not sound like much, but that's a heck of a lot of time. I utilize iMovie to do the creation of the hybrid video, like I mentioned, but there's similar tools available on PCs. But what the editor, the video editor, needs to do is just these things. It needs to be able to import your photos you want to use, any video clips you want to use, any music you want to use. You need to be able to edit a timeline so that you can move your elements around, and we're going to make one so you can see this. You need to create or eliminate transitions. You can do it with those packages. You set the duration. How long do you want, for example, a photo to appear on the screen before it moves to the next frame? Usually I find 5 seconds is a good time. Videos are going to take whatever time you trim them to be. A lot of people mistakenly take video as like, I'm going to take a 30-minute video or something. I recommend, if you're going to go this direction, that you take a series of video clips lasting no more than 15 seconds apiece, because you're going to merge them in with photos and other things. And you'll see, if you watch my full videos, you'll see how I wound those things together and then set them to music. You can create voiceover. That would be great. My second one is more of a portfolio slideshow, and so I am talking in that presentation. You could place music and voiceovers under the video track and set it any place you want it to be. It's really cool. And then save the video, preferably as either an MP4 or an MOV. MP4 is more widely used and uses a lot less storage, although you're not storing it. It's stored in the cloud. I'm not going to go into great detail here because you can pick this one up off YouTube, but we're using a company in San Francisco called Bay Photo. It's one of the largest photo print services and other services in the country. And if you go to their website, you have to set up an account. It's free, but you have to set one up. It's the typical information, name and contact type information that you put in there. And now you'll have a user ID and password that then's going to allow you to go to the next set of bullets. Rather than spend a lot of time in trying to show you how to order a live portrait, there's a video that you'll see in the top, and you could screen snap this page and you'd have it now, or you could wait to see it on YouTube. And that will actually show you step by step what you need to do to order a live photo. The second one is the place you would go to actually order that photo. There is a cost. The video is going to tell you it's $30 and it's good for 3 years, but in actual fact, it's really $18.99 and good forever. I'm not sure what forever means, but my videos that I created have been out there since 2015 and they're still there, and I don't pay any more money. So it'll ask you if you want to print the photo that you're going to use with Bay Photo. I never have, but you can if you want. And generally, after you've sent them a picture and your video, it takes about 24 elapsed hours for it to happen. And what I do, because I'm impatient, instead of waiting for them to send me the email, I just go into Live Portrait and scan my business card after about 4 or 5 hours and see if it's up and running yet. If it doesn't, it won't return anything. And I actually have not ever had it happen in more than 4 hours. It's usually done within 4 hours. The one thing you need to be careful of is to really review your material before you send it, because you can't edit it. So once it's up there, it's up there, but you can't edit it. I twisted their arm to allow me to edit one of them once. It was a tedious process for me to find the right person that would let me do it. So I would say review your stuff, and I'll show you how easy that is when we get into the iMovie.
And Don, it's not that big of a deal, but I noticed that you're not in the screen anymore. You're not up on screen, so maybe it's just the way your devices are working. I see the presentation, I just don't see you.
Yeah, well, you're not missing that much.
It's okay, it's not necessary, but I just thought I'd let you know that.
Well, there I am.
There you are. Okay.
I don't know what happened. It's this thing up here where these black marks are. I thought I would fit inside your frame, and I'm not fitting inside your frame. So a second thing you can do is use a tool like this for your portfolios. They usually recommend that a portfolio not consist of more than 8 to 12 photos, and they should be some of your very best work. And if you do offer services, then make sure that it's clear what you offer. Don't make your customers guess. And these are just some examples. And then set up your videos to support that type of activity that you want to press. And if you remember that people generally purchase art based on how it makes them feel, or to fulfill some general idea, I think this helps and supports that, because you are doing something that, generally speaking, probably nobody else is doing or has ever heard of. It's just really different. And I want you to also, I'm going to remind you a couple of times here, any hybrid photography video you create is not just wasted for a business card picture if you want. You can use it every place you post things. So it could be used in a multitude of places. You could also use it with a group. This is just an idea I came up with, but why couldn't we have a group? Let's say I just picked a group of 10 people, and everybody in the group has a kickoff photo, and you could actually print that on something, frame it, and hang it on the wall in the exhibit. That way people could each come and take a picture of those 10 and go home and see the stories of everybody in the group. Or if they were talking to somebody at, say, an exhibit, and they wanted to go see some of the work that that person has, they could just go over and run it right there on the show. And the simple instructions on how to do that are below. Because once you've got through the notification, all you're doing is tapping the app, putting it over the top of something. I mean, there's just nothing to it. I'll do the best I can, but this is the part that's not easy. I don't need this, so if it doesn't bother you, it doesn't bother me. So I've kind of gone through all of this anyways, but this would be things that you could use after you see a YouTube if you'd like. So the next thing could also be another idea for putting this at an exhibit hall that you're going to be in. On the right could be a photo that represents your group during some kind of activity, like at an event or at a training session or whatever the group does. That could be behind a group photo, and that could actually be one that represents the group. To the left, also on a little white card, like a little piece of foam core, you could have something here that are instructions to somebody what they need to do. The red stuff's one time only. Your typical group contact information. We're going to talk about QR codes. So you could put the Instagram codes, the web pages, an explanation of how to do a QR code rendering. So at this particular point in time, for the people that didn't get it working, this mouse is sensitive. If you were to put your iPhone up again to this particular picture, it would launch a different style.
Hi, my name is Don Simpson, and I'm a photographer. I find myself drawn more to wildlife and nature photography than anything else, but as a teacher, I have created and taught photography in most areas. However, I also like to experiment with hybrid photography.
So that's a talking head for like 25 seconds. And then the rest of the video would be my portfolio of landscape photos. And we'll see a little bit more of that on this next step. So to show you that, you should see my iPhone again, only this time I'm going to take a framed photo. This could be one that you're, say, trying to sell at the exhibit. And I'm going to use that instead of a business card. And so I'm going to hit the live portrait thing.
Hi, my name is Don Simpson, and I'm a photographer. I find myself drawn more to wildlife and nature photography than anything else. But as a teacher, I have created and taught photography in most areas. However, I also like to experiment with hybrid photography, scanography, lightbox photography, iPhone photography, cloud computing, and more. Now sit back and relax while you watch this short 2-minute video displaying some of my landscape photography.
So again, I don't want to use all our time up on something you can do later. So now it would be your turn. Okay, it'd be your turn to try this. And take your iPhone and scan the picture on the left and see if it doesn't fire off that video that you just saw showed 2 ways. So I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible, but realizing I could encounter people that don't have their phone with them. So what are they going to see? or people that were struggling to get it to work for whatever reason, and then doing it yourself. If you can see the results of this, then you pretty much have it. And if you screen snapped these two photos, then you can practice at home and determine whether or not it's something you want to do or not. Okay. Hopefully everybody got there. The next thing is QR codes. Probably most people in this group are familiar with them, but I've run into an awful lot of people. Maybe it's because I live in Sun City, where everybody's a little bit older and doesn't grasp technology as fast. I don't know. But QR codes, generally speaking, are free. You can make them fancier and pay a little bit of money to have them be fancy. So typically what happens is you use your default camera app that came with your phone. The one thing that is a little tricky, I found, and it's a mistake by me a few times, also make sure if you're on the iDevices that you pick portrait, or I mean take photo, not portrait or landscape or something else. Pick the right thing. If it's not your normal camera, it's not going to pick it up. And all you have to do is hold that camera on that QR code until something appears on the screen. And it could be different depending on what QR code you're using. But I have two QR codes here. So example is, in this case, if you said open in Instagram, and Instagram has a provision, Facebook has a provision to create a QR code right out of their application, or there are a million QR code people on the internet that will give you an app or just do it on the internet. When you tap on open in Instagram, then you would be directed to go to my Instagram page. Likewise, you could click or hold your phone up to this particular image, open in Chrome, and you probably aren't going to see this, that little black thing. I do not know how to get rid of it. See if I can hold it down. And there goes to Linda's. I don't have a website, even though I'm a webmaster. I'm the shoemaker's son. So that's how easy. It's very easy to make them. Generally speaking, the only thing you do is provide them as a web address, and it creates the image. You download it and put it wherever you want to put it. So we can try that as well. I'll just do one, and I don't know that we need to spend the time for everybody to do this, or you can just be doing it while I'm talking. So I'm going to stop this share, and I'm going to share the screen, my iPhone, share.
And while you're doing that, Don, I'm just going to say in the chat, I shouldn't say everybody, but most people are getting it to work. So it's pretty exciting to see a lot of positive comments. And, I'm not very technical, but when I aimed my camera at it and my website opened, I thought something's wrong. So I didn't realize you had used mine. So that was kind of fun.
Well, that's just kissing up,
Well, you can kiss up all you want. So.
So at this point in time, I believe you should see the camera app on my iPhone. This is what I was talking about. Make sure that down here where you can have several things, don't have it on video or slow-mo or something. Make sure it's on photo, because it usually comes up to what you were on last, but photo is what you need to be on. And you're just going to take that, and I will actually do it, or try to do it. And now that's image you see is on my iPhone. It was that simple to bring it up. So very, very easy. In my opinion, it saves somebody typing and a lot of stuff like that. but it's not as cool as, in my opinion, the picture, but it's more widely used as well. So that's fine. For me, I'll show you quickly the Linda's website because it's partially covered up. So if you just watch mine and you screen snap something. So that one says open in Chrome. And so now from there, I went to Linda's website and I can go down here to a place she calls home and scroll through the pictures. So it's another technique. And that's why I'm advocating on a business card, why not a combination of things, print more than one surface. You're not locked to just the front surface of a card. The lady that I learned this from California, maybe some of you have heard of her name, is Suzette Allen. She's a wedding photographer. And one of the things that she does is she brings a second shooter with her, like most wedding photographers do, but the second shooter also shoots a lot of video clips. And that's what I've done on some weddings as well. And then if they're willing to buy the sofa print or the big fireplace print, she gives them a free 2.5-minute video that is a great, very professionally well done capture of the most important moments of their wedding for people that couldn't be there. If they've got that big one and they have an Apple TV, they can sit on the comfort of their couch with their friends and family gathered around and point their iPhone at the picture on the wall. And when it takes off and starts, it not only shows on the iPhone, but it shows on the Apple TV on your large screen TV in your living room. And I do that quite a bit because people will come in my house, they'll see like my laughing zebra. And then I go about 8 foot away, usually behind them, and I just point my iPhone at it. And next thing you know, on my large screen TV, the whole video is playing in full definition. So there's all kinds of cool things that you can do with this technology. Okay, I think that's the end of that part. So now what I'd like to do is to show you how you create a, let's see here, where's the share again? There it is. I'd like to show you how you can create a hybrid video. So you should see an extremely messy desktop. That's me. And I've got a folder with a bunch of files in it that we'll use for testing purposes. But right now, I'm going to launch, if you can see this iMovie here, I'm going to launch iMovie. Now what we want to do, you can see I have lots of hybrid videos here. Sue, you might recognize the Blue Moon thing. We were working on that together at one point. But I want to create a new movie. And the first thing I need to do is to import media. So I'm going to click on that. And to save a little time, I've opened that folder behind the scenes. And all I've got on there is one video clip. It's 11.5 seconds in duration and four pictures. One of the ideas I would give you is to save yourself a whole lot of time is if you've already got a game plan on how to do this, I would put like the 01 underscore, 02 underscore. I don't care what the words are past that, but effectively I'm sequencing to save myself a lot of time. In this case, I want all of them. You could pick just the one, not all of them, but I'm going to use all of them. And if I do that, I just down here, click the import all button. So you saw how quickly, because everything's happening local, it's brought all these videos to the screen here. Now what I want to do is get them down to this timeline below. All I have to do is highlight the things I want to bring down and drag them. We have now got a hybrid photo right here.
Making s'mores the inside way. Look up and smile, girls.
But it's
I'm
hard
gonna
to
play the whole thing. Okay, so you got a preview window up there, and you can see, and right now it's video clip, no transition, photo, no transition, photo, no transition, photo, no transition, photo. But I can now do a lot of things with this. I'm not going to take the time to get into cropping and contrast and color management, but they're all up there. I do teach a class, but it's a good couple-hour class in just learning how to use iMovie fully. You can do voiceovers from the microphone. If I want to pick out frames and really get tedious, I can pull out every frame that's inside that video so I can deal with certain things at whatever level I need to. But let's just say I want to pick up this, and I decided I don't want that picture there. I want that picture, say, here. So again, if you have your timeline ordered, you won't need to do so much of this. But let's just say right now, I'm going to split this clip. So if I go here and I say split clip, that is now, I can move it around independent. But you'll see I still have the audio part of that track there. Well, what if I don't want the audio track? So I can click on this again, right click, and say detach the audio. Now, the audio is still there, but it's on a track of its own instead of traveling with the video part at the same time. I could delete the picture or the little video, or I can delete the sound if I want. So I'm going to just take this again, and I'm going to delete it. And now that's completely gone. So I could supplant music or voiceovers or whatever I want in between. Let's say I want to trim a video. So I don't want to just split it. I then want to get rid of some stuff. So I can take this trim thing and I can move it in from there, from there. I could further split it. I can do all kinds of things. It's very simple to use. Let's say, for example, I want to create a fancier transition between two pictures. So I'm going to go up here, maybe, and click on transitions. You'll see that iMovie has lots of transitions. The more popular style today is no transitions. At least that's what I'm seeing in most videography. But let's do a cross dissolve, say between those two photos. So I just drag it down. Now it says a default of 1 second duration, which is sometimes a little short. I usually like my things to happen for about 1.5 seconds. And I could apply it to all transitions to save me time, but I'm just going to apply it to this one. So if I was here, it just went to another picture. Now you're going to see a transition of a cross dissolve between the two photos, and then another picture, and then it's going to go right back into video. But again, no sound on that particular part of the video. So what I recommend is that you very carefully check this, because once you sent it to Bay Photo, you can't edit it. So you want to make sure it's crystal clear that your video is fine, because at this point, if you want to see the video full screen, you've got this over here. It can consume the full screen. So there's no reason.
And here we are, making s'mores.
Or hit the escape key and go back here. But I usually view everything in this little window here, and I can perfect this entire video just from these screens. You don't need anything more elaborate than this. And if you find yourself in a position where you need studio quality, I mean, just top flight, lots of little editing capabilities, then go get yourself the $200 versions, and you can do pretty much anything they do in motion pictures. They're pretty incredible. I used to have one I subscribed to, but I stopped because I found this fits my needs. So when you get done with this, if you hit this project key up here, top left, it's going to ask you to name it. So I could say happiness hour, let's say, even if I can't type. And then click OK. So now I have a new thing here called happiness hour. I can go in and pull that up and continue working on it, editing it, whatever I want to do. So this can be a multi-day, multi-week. Sometimes I've done big projects of 45-minute videos because, again, hybrid videos are not tied to just the business card example. They're tied to anything you want. So I've done some wedding work of family who asked me if I would, because I'm not really a wedding photographer. But I said, if you hire a photographer, I'll do the video and then I'll put it all together for you. And I've also done concerts where we've had choral groups with an orchestra and done some pretty fancy hybrid photography with it. And they were really happy with it. So you can do most anything. There's all kinds of cool things that you can do. So for example,
Don, can I get you to expand that screen so that we can hide a little bit of your desktop? I should have asked you a little earlier.
this one, oh, you want me to expand this one?
Yeah, because we're seeing what's on your desktop. It's a little distracting.
If I could figure out how to do it, I would.
On the far left, there's a great red, yellow, and green button. I think if you hit the green button, it might expand the window.
Like that?
No, up on the far left on your iMovie menu. Not the menu, but the red, yellow, and green dot.
Yeah, I did. That's the one I hit. And what I'm seeing here, I don't know. On mine, it doesn't do that.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm sorry.
No, that's
I don't
okay.
know how to do that part. But with something like this, just to give you an idea, maybe not. You can see that, and effectively, I did a quick change from a black and white photo all the way into a color photo. So there's all kinds of gimmicks, fireworks. I've done some pretty creative fireworks stuff, etc. I'll just stop the share. That's one way to do it. I actually think this is a good breaking point anyways, Linda.
Okay.
Unless some people have some questions, because
There is one question in there. Let me see if I can. Okay, it's from it's from Susan. She wanted to know, can the QR code also be used to link to a video?
Sure.
Okay, that's an easy enough answer. Anybody else have any questions? Anybody find this really, really cool, or is it just me? All right. Are you ready to close out your session, Don?
You mean leave?
No, not leave, but are you finished? Was there?
Do I have that? Hey, I don't have it shared, right?
Nope, it's good. Let me see. Okay, let me just see if there's any questions in here. And I see Sherry has one. She wants to know, do you recommend putting the app download info on the back of your business card?
It's probably a good idea.
Yeah. Okay.
It just depends on what venue you're in when you're handing out those cards. If you were a group, say at an exhibit, and you were having some kind of a little party to commemorate things, you might, usually there's some kind of speeches or something. You might spend 2 minutes if your group endorses something like this and explain it to people, and then have one of those printouts hanging with the exhibit where people could go do it, because it literally is, download an app. If you got an iPhone, you know how to do a download of an app. You click the app, and is it okay to permit them to get to your camera? Well, if they don't have a scanning device, so you got to give it to them. And notifications, you could probably say no. I just said, make it simple, say yes. I can tell you, in the 6 years I've been with them, I don't get bombarded with like emails and stuff. I rarely ever see anything from them because I'm not a big buyer of their services.
Mm-hmm.
I just rent their cloud, if you will. So
Okay, I'm going to read a note or two in here. I think I saw something from Ashley. She just says, thanks so much for sharing, and she looks forward to trying this. So this is my challenge to you guys for next week. You guys try it. And when we log on before we go into the next session, let's see what you've created. So you've got a week. So hopefully a few of you will try this. Karen Riley, I think I saw her note in here. And I've scanned past it, I think, but she basically says she's thinking of all these great things that she can do with this app. So, okay, with that, guys, I'm going to close out the session. You guys, thank you, Don. I'll say this off record, but well, I'll just put it on record. So you can't say no to me in front of all these people, but I'm going to need some one-on-one time with you soon. But thank you for coming and sharing what you know. And I truly, truly appreciate it.
yep, no problem. I'll close with one quick thing.
Sure.
Just to give you ideas, this is not limited to what we saw today. You need to use your creativity. But when I first moved here, there was a lady, or there still is a lady, who lives in Sun City, who is an incredible watercolorist. And she watercolors people's pets from a photo. Incredible. And she had this marketing idea that I thought was really clever, which is, how could I show my potential customers the actual 3 to 4 hour process it takes me to paint this painting? And so she got a hold of me and said, so what do you think? And we decided we could come up with a time lapse. So iPhone mounted right here with decent light. And we worked out the technique for the timing. How often did we want it to click? And she just went to painting her thing like she always does. And it's back there, the iPhone's slamming away all this stuff. Then it was kind of like, well, how could I put that into a video, put it to music, put my marketing stuff on the video and all that? Now she has a pretty large business doing this. And if somebody asks for it, she does it for them at no additional cost to the actual watercolor that they get. And she's condensed a 3 to 4 hour process into under 3 minutes to show somebody. And when you watch it, you just can't stop watching it. It just draws you right in there. So any kind of a process that you want to document, think of time-lapse photography. That's what that little changing the flower thing was, effectively time-lapse photography. So let your creative juices go fly, because mainly what I wanted to point out here today was hybrid photography and how easy it is to create them, and then maybe a cool way to get to them. I'm done.
I think it was great. And I'm kind of excited, but I'm also feeling a little challenged. So honestly, you and I one-on-one pretty soon. All right. You guys can connect with Don on Instagram at Donald B. Simpson. And I believe you had an email on your screen that people could screenshot, but do you mind sharing that in case anybody wants to reach out directly to you?
Yeah, it's Donald B as in boy, Simpson @gmail.com.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. Next week, Dennis Kelly will be here to present One Soul at a Time, a path to capture the essence of a human. Until next time, go out and create something beautiful, and I hope that we see you again soon.